occasionally listen to NPR up first in the morning just to give myself a sense of what a lot of kind of more mainstream outlets are talking about, make sure I have all the news that I need for the day. And I was tickled by this segment that they did because they included these sound bites here from Elon Musk in their reporting. Tesla had an earnings call yesterday, and the company is not doing well. They announced that their profits in the first 3 months of this year compared to last year fell by 55%.
Now, profits are like the gas pedal of a company. Is that right?
We could do without it. And sales are down by 8.5%. The stock price has fallen by 65%.
Which is all that matters to these freaks.
3 years ago. Exactly. So he's got to find a way to drive stock prices up, Elon Musk, because a lot of his big promises haven't come through, including his assertion that when he said in 2019 that there would be 1 million robotaxis on the road in 1 year.
I mean, such an obvious, like, Kickstarter-esque lie. Like, yeah, we expect in the future this will be able to make... Look, give us $100,000 for a shitty... I need to stop swearing. A badly made, meme wagon. And that might seem like a bad deal. I can sense the little bit of a second thought creeping in. How about if it just makes you money while you sit on your ass playing Cyberpunk in the future? Like, right. Oh, well, maybe I will spend $100,000 on something I can't resell for a year after that. Yeah,
that complete... whatever. What was it? Also cutting people severely with its edges. It's a joke.
The automatic closing of the trunk and stuff like that will just take your fingers straight off.
Right. Tesla also has had to lay off 10,000 workers. Like, they are not doing well. So how is Elon going to spin this in this call with investors? Here's NPR's reporting on it.
Change. Here in the US, Tesla is still the majority of the EV market. They sell more than half of all EVs, barely. But other companies, I'm thinking Kia, Hyundai, BMW, Rivian, they are seeing strong growth in EV sales right now.
So how is Elon Musk explaining Tesla's struggles to investors?
Well, he mentioned a tough environment and, quote, unforeseen challenges, but he really spent very little time on this question. He was looking forward, which is typical for him, and his investors actually really like that. And here's a sample.
In the future, gasoline cars that are not autonomous will be like riding a horse and using a flip boat.
So in the present, again, sales, they're down.
Sorry,
Tesla's cutting.
I just have to say, like, I tweeted this out a few days ago after somebody said AI is going to create fake girlfriends that is going to be $1 billion industry. Tech executives say stuff because tech investors are the stupidest people in the entire world.
Oh, yes.
And it's the dumbest bag of money that you can, take from.
You want to know that something funny? Tesla prices are up today.
Of course.
After this call.
They're stupid.
Even though and they'll get into it, lied about everything to do just that. I mean, it's market manipulation in any real, like in any the sane society. But we decided actually it makes more sense like that we can only crack down on people on Reddit doing that with GameStop. That's the real market manipulation.
But it's sort of like when the Uber rebranded as like Uber Technologies as like not being a car service. It's like we're actually a technology company. It's like all you do is you're a cab service.
Right.
Like you are like factually.
But there's certain regulations and stuff that and labor issues that you might run into. But if you call yourself a tech platform that's doing innovation. Dispatching cabs. What a great innovation.
Exactly.
He was looking forward, which is typical for him, and his investors actually really like that. And here's a sample.
In the future, gasoline cars that are not autonomous will be like riding a horse and using a flip boat.
So in the present, again, sales, they're down. Tesla's cutting prices on the cars it sells today. It hasn't yet managed to bring a cheaper $25,000 vehicle to market like it's promised, but he's looking forward.
Why not? What's been the holdup there?
On that cheaper...
By the way, people compare this guy to Henry Ford. That is like Henry Ford, also an anti-Semite, which I think Elon Musk is.
Yes.
To quote Jonathan Greenblatt
and
of the ADL.
Interested in the media in doing influence in the media. But one difference is Henry Ford actually did create a car that was massively affordable to the wider public, and Tesla hasn't done that remotely. It's like kind of the first mover if you forget about all the electric vehicles that happened before Teslas. And that's the only thing that he's like accomplished here?
Well, he had been resistant to a low-cost Tesla basically since the outset of the company, but it was clearly where the market is going, and the reporter explains even more here. But then they finally, at the end of last year, his lead designer had convinced him, okay, we need to do something about this. We need to create a low-cost car. But he says that's still in the works, but I don't know.
Sales, they're down. Tesla's cutting prices on the cars it sells today. It hasn't yet managed to bring a cheaper $25,000 vehicle to market like it's promised, but he's looking forward.
Why not? What's been the holdup there?
On that cheaper EV, first of all, one thing that happened on this call is that Musk said that more affordable vehicles are coming, and actually sooner than expected, maybe as soon as this year, which caused stocks to pop. But those cars may not be $25,000. And that's because it is hard to build a car at that price. And Tesla had previously said that some revolutionary new manufacturing processes were going to make it possible. But now the company says it's actually going to use existing production lines after all. So it's not clear how cheap these cars can be. And when asked about that, Musk just kept redirecting the conversation back to robotaxis.
Robotaxis?
Yeah, it's something that he's promised for a long time. Truly driverless Teslas that go out and pick passengers up when they're not being used. In 2019, he actually said he expected to have 1 million robotaxis on the road within 1 year.
1 million of them?
Yeah,
Sorry,
and still...
This is like Patrick Bet David requiring his sales force of insurance people to buy their own life insurance before they go flogging it to other people. Yeah, buy it and then you can make money. But first you have to give me $100,000. You are the biggest market in the entire world. If you think this guy that can't build a truck for $100,000 is going to be able to build a car for $25,000.
Right.
Driverless Teslas that go out and pick passengers up when they're not being used. In 2019, he actually said he expected to have 1 million robotaxis on the road within 1 year.
1 million of them?
Yeah, and still, this is not a thing. But last night, Musk said again, Tesla's self-driving software is so close.
It is only a matter of time before we exceed the reliability of humans, and not much time at that.
So you can hear there he's no longer specifying as exact of a timeline. Tesla's self-driving technology still needs a driver supervising it, and there are other hurdles too before you can have this fleet of robotaxis. But even without that specific timeline, Musk is all in on this vision of a future with a ton of robotaxis.
Isn't there like 15 more seconds? Hold on one. Yeah.
NPR's Camila.
Oh no, I was wrong. I was wrong. That's it. That's it. Good job, guys. That was a funny. I mean, because there's limitations to the way that NPR or the Associated Press or whatever, or C-SPAN can present their information, but you could kind of just the undercurrent of he's been lying over and over again, clearly to drive up the stock price. And I mean, Twitter's lost massive amounts of money because of his far right buddies, his allowing of all this kinds of hate speech, the stupid verification thing that he rolled out, the attempts to make it a video platform. Again, like these robo-taxis that he's talking about, they're not anywhere close. It's like the same. There was also, I still remember how people were saying how laboratory meat, it's right around the corner, but
we'll see that before we see
in this technology, you think? Yeah. Maybe. I mean, it's like a lot of this, folks, is clearly, point is, this is instructive about a lot of media. And I was seeing CNBC framing this as like, Tesla's back, buddy. I mean, they have got it together. There's all these new promises, and they're taking advantage of people who, as you say, yes, they're marks and they shouldn't be investing in Tesla at all anymore. Like the popular models are aging. I was seeing Paris Marx write about it. The Cybertruck, as you mentioned, it was a total joke. He'd been promising that Roadster, and it's still behind schedule. Like, everything is a lie, and it's just to make him money.
Musk is just indicative of the broader sort of tech sort of false promise that we're all waking up from, which is that we give money to these sorts of innovative investors, venture capitalists, and they'll create a better future, as opposed to just recreate things we already have in a way that they can, take the money from it. You'll be able to make money by letting your car drive around without you in it, sitting on your ass, and you'll go pick people up and taxi them around. That is an admission that the value that these things are presenting itself short of that is not there.
Right.
It's just obvious. And you are which is to say, like, investors are the people who pumped up NFTs, who are now going crazy about AI, even though I do think there might be there is obviously some application with like translation or whatever. But generally speaking, the amount that they want to extract isn't as much as like the actual promise for this stuff. We saw this with like this whole social network era. Like, look at all this innovation that Silicon Valley is doing with the rise of Facebook, and it's all just surveillance technology.
Yeah, well, or I mean, the other side of that is is Theranos, right? I mean,
exactly.
The idea of like how they, she duped Henry Kissinger and all of these other wealthy kind of elites into investing in her big ideas, and it's just it's the bigger the lie, the more investment that you get, and that's how a lot of these tech guys got to where they are, or tech women in her instance.
We're told that that's the best way to steward innovation into the future, is that class of people, investors, not forget Elon Musk.
Right.
It's the people that all this stuff is geared towards, the stupid people with too much money, and they want to make more money with it passively. That is...
And also kill people with, as they test their self-driving robotaxi technology on the streets of our cities.
And that's why we have 8 different sort of like dopamine addicting things, and we aren't addressing climate change.
Right.
Like it's because we are trusting it to this sort of, investors are the most like diabolically evil and ignorant class of people in the world, and yet we have things like investor state dispute systems where if a government wants to do something, we have to be worried about what harm it causes investors. Like, if they say, hey, we actually want to have this lithium, well, what does that mean for investors around the world? Well, fuck them. They took a risk, they take a haircut, they lose the money. Sorry, that's what happens to investors. They lose money. Actually, they just make money for nothing, but that's the problem we have in this world.
You enjoy my socialism said, was listening to the Musk NPR clip while riding my bike and almost got hit by a Tesla Uber who decided to swerve in the bike lane for no reason. How poetic. Exactly.
I love slowly walking in front of Teslas that are trying to turn, even though it kind of freaks me out because I expect them to like accelerate into me at any moment.
Oh, the brake fell off.
Your little acts of resistance, Matt.
I'll stare them down too. Like, you should first of all, like, if you can
buy a union-made EV.
Exactly. I can't imagine having that. First of all, I don't own a vehicle. I live in New York. I don't foresee making that sort of purchase. But if I did, it would be like, yeah, which one does Sean Fain want me to buy?
Right.
I don't understand.
Well, I mean, early on, I can see, like, there were some people who had some money and they wanted an electric car. Yeah, I don't begrudge that necessarily. But now, with the plethora of electric vehicles on the market, if you're still purchasing a Tesla, you deserve dirty looks.
I saw Rivian on the street, and I'm like, hell yeah, bro. Get his ass.